Go ahead and bring us back up if you would, please. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and we'll go. Okay.
Dan Kendall, Project Manager.
Jeff Underwood, Director of Facilities.
Monthly update. I'll go first and then let Jeff kind of explain what he's been up to. Comp time is down under 20 hours for the first time in like 3 years.
What's your vacation at?
Well, it's way out of control. Don't talk about that. So this month was full of Safe Teen Center. Shanda will give you a better update, but a lot of meetings with contractors and architects and Todd Mager, City of Pocatello. So thanks, Commissioner Tubby, for your help with that. It's been quite the process, but I think it's moving along really fast.
Did we get that second drawing that you sent to me? Did that go to the city as well and get a confirmation on that? That's okay?
Yep. They're
so all their planners are now on the same sheet of music?
Well, they're finalizing the location, but it sounds like after our meeting with them, it's going to be approved and get this thing moving along. The architects have just been cruising through it. They moved us to the top of the list with their engineers as well, so couldn't ask for anything more from those guys.
Yeah, Booth and those guys have been.
Yeah.
They really to get this thing going with the right amount of. They're going to really bust their butts to make this happen.
Yeah, we actually have contractors interested, so that's awesome too.
Yep.
So I think it's going well. Working with Shanda on the custodial contractor stuff, and she'll give you an update on that as well. We had 20 applicants for the assistant, so I was pretty happy with that, and made an offer. So we should have a new employee on the 8th. So HR was super great working with them on that. Josh actually helped us with the interviews.
This is good.
So we have materials showing up for the museum, and we're just missing some fasteners, but hopefully those are here this week or next week. Get cruising on that.
We just signed a receipt for that.
You're all good. Yeah. So materials, getting things to show up is pretty difficult right now. Emma's working with sign up on the logo and the lettering for the front of the courthouse. Coming up with some designs for you guys to look at. And we just wanted to make sure sign up was able to do what she was thinking, and so once they pick out some designs that she's kind of along the lines of what she's thinking, then we'll present them to you guys, and you guys can wait from those and get going on that, and some clocks. Some upcoming things. We're going to add heaters to the Ag Extension restrooms. They just have space heaters in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get that going. I'm working on part of the City Works. It's going to help me create a daily, a weekly, a monthly task list for these new employees as they come in. But we'll also have a list of projects they can pick from to kind of give them some, independent, kind of have their ownership of a project. And so they're always going to be busy. We'll always have a list of things they can work on.
Good.
Anyways, thank you guys for being so supportive. It makes our job a lot easier. I wanted Jeff to come talk about the things that he's been working on, things breaking down and all that kind of good stuff.
We're keeping it up and running, but since Dave has left us, has been really super busy and trying to do everything that needs to be done maintenance-wise and scheduled maintenance that I had just delegated to him and take care of, and so I've been working on trying to keep them up to date on that. Some of the major things that we worked on, I've lost track of, but I think we've worked on 5 or 6 different air conditioners in the last month that have kind of went down and rebuild them. Most of the work I've done myself with phone contact of a contractor that we've used, but nobody's able to come and help us directly. So we've changed out 2 condensing fan motors and played with a lot of thermostats to get things happen. Our major thing that we've come across is last spring we did an upgrade for the treasurer's office, and we had a guy order the coil in, and the contractor and myself was questioning whether it really was going to work. Well, when we've had these hot days, we've discovered it's not working, and so we're trying to remedy that situation by getting the correct coil in the duct. It's supposed to be there between the contractor and myself and the supplier of that product. Hopefully, we'll get a solution to the problem before, hopefully in this next week, to get a solution of what's going on there, because we can't keep up with the cooling demand of the treasurer's in that area of the treasurer's office. Only way I've been able to compensate for it is I reprogrammed the fans to come in on at 2 o'clock in the morning, so we're bringing in a lot of fresh, cool air into the building. And so by the time they get to work here, and I push the thermostat down to about 67 degrees, so we're cool in there. And then, of course, as the day goes on, it gets hotter and hotter, and the cooling's not able to keep up with the demand.
Wait a month, you won't have to worry about it.
That's right. He's suffering.
Yeah.
This affects my office.
Yeah.
Well, I was up at the event center yesterday, and the AC's running in one room, and there's a space heater under a desk in another room.
Yeah, we find that quite often. I talked with Emma here the beginning of the week about the clock on the front of the building. And I am going to go ahead, and she says, yeah, we want that clock fixed and running. And so we're going to get the bucket truck here, and I'll have to take the hands off the front of it, so there might not be any hands on it for a little bit. And then I found a company that still makes parts for it. I think the gears are shot inside of it, and I've talked to the individual back east on the phone here a couple of months ago about it. But I've actually got to have that thing sitting in front of me in order to get it fixed. And I need to do it before I leave, because I'm thinking I'm the only one that can fit in the hole where that mechanism is.
Oh,
Dan,
you're up, man.
That was a fat joke.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it.
Think skinny, dude.
Yeah,
We got Emma.
yeah, let's stick her down in there.
You wanted this fixed, Emma.
Yeah, you get down in this hole. So anyway, so we're working on that. Yesterday, we discovered that Judge Aaron Thompson's office, we had water on the carpet, and where this new addition of the building and the old addition, they just butted it up there, and so there is even on the foundation and the footing. I fixed it like 15 years ago with some tar and some other stuff. Well, over the years, it's deteriorated.
We need to do it again.
And so we've got it dug up this morning. I've found a product that we can stick on there, but Pocatello does not have it. It's an auto fault. I bought another product, but I think I want to fix it right to start with. Smiley D's might have some of that product in their hands, and if they have it, we'll see if they'll let us use their product.
Do you have is it like a...
It's a water repellent stucco.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we can get that on that foundation, and then hopefully they'll seal that all up.
The other thing you can use is they have it's like a roll of bituathane. It's but it's it's for foundations, and it's like a tarred membrane.
I put that on there 15 years ago, and it totally, when we dug that up, it totally just peeled right off. So it's not sealed. It didn't seal to the foundation anymore. So anyway, so we hope to get that fixed before today's over. We're between Dan and myself, we're feeling that we're doing okay in keeping Fridays covered. I'll be here tomorrow, part of the day, and Dan was here last week, part of the day, and so we're kind of, in order to keep our Fridays covered here at work, we're being able to work together with that.
I was going to ask you on the clock. Is there any way to reface that clock? Because I've seen some clocks in the past that they have the drive shaft, but then they have it's a lit panel.
Not right now.
Is there a way to do that so you can actually see it? Because it's kind of, once 5 o'clock at night hits in the wintertime, it's kind of pointless to have a clock.
Yeah.
It's kind of camouflage, isn't it? I think we're looking at some options.
Yeah, I know that I've looked online, and there are some brand new clocks out there. I have not found any companies here in the Intermountain West that
Probably
even
won't
make. It's all from the East Coast. And I think Dan had visited with Ted Booth a little bit about it, and he had a couple options too with that. So we'll do some pursuing and see what we can.
Remember when they did? Where was that? There's one in Boise they did where literally they just basically it looks like a backlit piece of fogged plexiglass that they just put on top of the clock, extended the shaft, and then just put their numbers back on, and then just lit it up to where you could actually see it.
Yeah, there's a company back east, Americlock, that has, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever you can pay for.
Yeah. They're expensive, yeah.
Yeah, let's
There's a
not do
lot of
that.
options. We'll-
Or maybe just a light on the clock, you know, that shows the time.
I think the logo and the letters she's picking out have the backlit stuff too, so,
They're trying to do it so you can see it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that Emma had mentioned is want to just paint the markings on that clock as a black marking. You know, that was one of the things she had talked about. But we don't know. We'll look at some more
See what you can
options.
play.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay,
Okay,
all right,
Cool.
okay.
all right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Shanda.
Yep.
Also, the CFMO information card sent me to me. They want to buy this piece of ground from us. And I'm like, no.
Good morning, Commission. Shanda Crystal, Purchasing and Economic Analyst. I am thrilled to only have 2 items before the board today, not 6. So,
No, there's 2 items, but there's 14 parts each.
part 7. No. The first item I have before the board today is to discuss the draft of the cleaning services request proposal in front of you. So this is something that was requested in the budget for fiscal year 23. It did make it to the clerk's recommendation. It is not final. However, we did want to start the solicitation because if it is approved by the board, we do want those services to start October 1st. If it doesn't go through a board approval, if it doesn't make it into the final budget for 23, there's no problem. We just cancel the solicitation as soon as we know, and we're done. So this is just preparing for everything being ready to go October 1st, but at any time as the board so sees fit, we can cancel that solicitation and be done with it. So on this one, if you had any questions or concerns, I wanted Dan to be here because it is something that we haven't done in the past little bit, and as we go forward in the next budget, that's why I've asked Dan to stay.
No, you feel good about it, Dan?
Yeah, we worked really hard on the scope of work and feel pretty confident.
We did want to be very detailed about what we mean by cleaning times, what we expect, how often you're going to be reviewed, right? And then as part of the contract, then there will be consequences, right? If it doesn't meet expectations, right? What is the first line of remedy, right? How do we fix that? How many chances do we go before? So those will be part of the contract. But we did want to be very clear what our expectations were going into this, so then the contractor knows what we're expecting and then can bid it appropriately.
Do you have like a very clear measurement, like our expectation is to clean out the garbages? How do you measure that? Or, I mean,
Yeah, they have a checklist of daily and weekly duties, and then we made it clear that we'll be checking their work daily, so there'll be a logbook
Okay.
here that they can look if they're missing a spot. There'll be a logbook with our suggestions on how to fix it, and then Shannon will work towards, if there's a certain amount of violations, then we're gonna make a change. So
Okay.
we're gonna make sure it's
and then
successful.
who's going to be responsible for the daily checklist?
The text that I'm
Okay.
hiring now. Yeah.
Right.
And then he does go even so far as to define what clean means. So I did like that addition as well, that
Good.
there's no question that this is what, when we say this area is going to be cleaned this often, this is the standard that we're expecting to go to. So I really appreciated the time that Dan went into the scope of work. I thought it was very clear to vendors what we're asking for. So we shouldn't have any, we didn't realize, we didn't know, that's going to take more staff, right? This is what we asked for, this is what you bid, and we should be able to move forward fairly smoothly after that.
Good.
I think it's good to be ahead of it.
Okay, so if the board so chooses, I do have a letter to sign and we can get this posted and going. But again, at any point in this process, if it doesn't move forward, then the board we can just cancel the solicitation.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the RFP for cleaning services.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Didn't know if you knew how to sign your name.
Some days yes, some days no.
Well, after the 1,000 pages
You
that
want
they
this back
did.
now?
I can just come, yep, can come in the package just fine, thank you. The second is a procurement update. It's been a little bit before I've been before the board. So we've started with GIS aerial imaging. Again, this is a fiscal year 23 project. We're gathering specifications. If this project moves forward in the budget, we would anticipate having that solicitation before the board in October. For computer services, the telephone support system that was approved, that has been posted on Bonfire. It was sent out to just over 200 different companies through Bonfire. So we're excited. We have somebody already signed up for the pre-bid meeting that's to be held next week. So we're excited that that project's moving forward. The landfill. They've had loads of excitement in blasting and excavating that they've started and in conversations.
They're blowing stuff up and they didn't even bother to call me. Really?
Kyle sent me a video, that was all I got. I was a little disappointed in that.
It's a lot more exciting when you're standing right there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
To feel that percussion, right? So there is movement, and Kyle's been very pleased with that contractor and how quickly they've been responsive to the needs and potentially the snow that is coming soon. So he's excited that that project is moving along just as quickly as expected. Dan already mentioned on the Historical Museum roof, those specialty fasteners that we're waiting on. That's one that we're in contact with Christy on to hold our breath. If they arrive in the next 2 weeks, we should be good to go. If not, we will have conversations later this afternoon about how much money we need to roll into next year because we just don't have the materials we need. The contractor's ready to go, right? Dan's crew is ready to go. We're just waiting on items to arrive. And the jail medical bank. I'm excited. Levi has finally completed that project. He's doing the final details on that. They've got everybody moved back into that space already, so they're just finding right as they actually use it and functioning right. If there's last minute touch-ups and things that need to be done. But they're excited to be back into the medical bay at the jail. The last one I want to go over with the commissioners is the safety and assessment building that Dan mentioned also. We had a pre-bid meeting yesterday with contractors, so we were excited again, right, that we have people interested in a project with such a compressed timeline. So we're excited about that. But through that conversation, there was a couple things that came out that I would like to make a recommendation to the board. We would like to recommend that we switch from looking for a contract manager and switch over to looking for what they call a contract manager / general contractor. So the CMGC, what it does is it makes them a little more interested in the project because they have a little more control over their subs, right? So they contract with their subs, Bannock County doesn't. So as they contract with their subs, they have a little more leeway of coming in on time, in budget, and they have that control. If they just are a contract manager for us, then we are contracting with the subs outside. They are just kind of overseeing the project as a whole. So in talking with both of the companies that came yesterday, both of them feel that they would have additional interest in the project, which again is what we would like to see if we were looking for a CMGC versus what we're doing now. Some more benefits in making this switch. Bannock County's never done a CMGC before, so this is new territory for us. But Dan reported yesterday that Bannock County hasn't created a new structure for 30 years. So it's been a little bit since Bannock County has built a building. But the new, with the CMGC, it also does a guaranteed maximum price earlier in the process for us, which we are very interested in to make sure that we remain within grant constraints and things like that. So it just kind of jumps that up a little bit for us. I mentioned the single contract with that company versus potentially 10 to 15 different contracts with the different subs that we would have involved. And to me, again, with our kind of compressed timeline, this also doesn't change our solicitation deadline. We would switch it from right now, we're looking for a proposal attached with a percentage. Switching it to a CMGC would be qualification based. So neither of the contractors that arrived yesterday, okay, felt that it would cause any additional work or delay on their end. They felt they could meet the deadlines. They felt their companies would have additional interest. So I would
They're
like to-
dealing with the subcontractors, more power to them.
Yeah.
How's that going to plan with the grant funds?
So in theory, we don't know what those dollar amounts are going to be, but it shouldn't change.
With
Either
subcontractors though? Are we good with that? Okay. I just want to make sure that sometimes you have to be careful with subcontractors through grant funds.
Oh, gotcha. So this way, if we go CMGC, then Bannock County is just contracting with the general,
Okay.
right? And then they're getting the work done.
Okay.
So we can triple check, we can have Todd double check with the state.
Whether they
just
have,
to
whether
make
they have
sure that-
in-house labor or they have subs, because some of them will actually have electricians and plumbers on staff. They don't, so they won't actually bid, or they might bid it all out. It all just depends on.
We should be fine. I just, subcontract always throws red flags with grants, so.
Okay.
I'll double check with Michelle and see if there's anything here.
Okay.
That's just, it's probably standard.
And we can have Todd reach out to the state too, just to make sure that there's not language built in there that would prohibit any of this.
The other thing too is a lot of your subs will be more willing to work for that general contractor that they always work with because that's their preferred. You know, if you're working with contractor services or whatever, and to tell you the truth, if Dan and you guys don't have to manage all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One, do you want to talk about doing a little bit of work?
Oh, yeah, that's perfectly done.
So we
This is
have,
2B?
To be.
This is?
This is might be like HI. It's important.
Okay.
we asked the contractors if we're close, if they give us their maximum price and we're close to going over, can we do some of the work ourselves? And they were excited because they are having a hard time getting some general contractors. So we were gonna supply a list with nothing major, we're not framing or anything like that, but if we can save some money and get this on budget, under budget.
Right.
we'd like
Whole
to- we'd like
wires
to
for
do that.
IT.
Yeah, it could be door frames and getting our own doors, you know, the little things.
Our own finish.
Yeah.
Doorknobs, locks.
So they wanted a list of the things that we could do, and they were actually more excited than I thought. I thought they wouldn't want that, but that actually were excited.
Labor shortage.
Yeah, labor shortage, yeah.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, like the IT stuff, I'd almost prefer to do that ourselves anyway, because
Yeah.
then we know. I'm not saying that you can go contract somebody else to do that, but you got guys that are specifically in our office that know exactly how they want that network set up and everything in there, all the wiring. Let
Our
them build it.
system,
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dan's done a great job. Ted reviewed, because he was a little nervous too, as we proposed the idea of cost savings.
And I like the idea, but I don't want anything in there that has them pushing delays and
Yes,
stuff off
right.
on us.
Right,
I don't want to be the scapegoat
yeah, and they brought
in
that
any
up.
way.
Yeah. They're such minor things, it's.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't want us to be the scapegoat for any
And
delays.
they brought that up, like, if you guys do that, you're not gonna cause a delay, you're not gonna
Yeah.
make it, so we're not gonna meet our deadline, so.
Yep.
Okay. I'm good with that then.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'll follow up on that. I'm thinking subrecipients. My mind was
Oh,
not tracking
gotcha.
right.
Okay,
So,
okay, no problem. Okay, we're good to go on that side then. So if the board agrees, then I'll make that switch today and issue that addendum switching from asking for proposals for a construction manager to qualifications for a CMGC.
I just feel like that's part of our package anyway now. so.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect, we'll get it done.
And Shanda, would you give the rest of the board just a 30-second update, like you gave me yesterday on Bonfire and the response from the contractors?
Okay, so as we've gone live and sent out that invitation that I forwarded you gentlemen went out on Monday to all of our known people that we've worked with over the past couple years. We have 35 vendors that have responded in the last 2 days. About half of those are people that we've specifically invited to attend, to come on to Bonfire with us, and the other half are new, fresh faces that we've never done business with before. So I was excited about both routes, that in 2 days we gathered up 35 vendors, some people that we know and love that we work with, and other people are fresh faces and new opportunities for Bannock County. And no, everybody's been able to log in. They've been able to, we ask straight up for W-9s and insurances, so we have that information up front. People are uploading that information in there. We did have one hiccup with a password. But I feel that might be more user error if I have 1 out of 35. But we were able to get them the information they needed, and they got in as well. So it's going really well.
And Shanda gave me a login for approving budgets. Did that come through good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. I got your response back. And
Will I be able to use that to get the W-9s? That login? Because then you don't have to forward it. I could just go in and upload it and...
Okay.
That's
I
probably
am
a permission.
uncertain.
Yeah, you just probably have to give permission of that login and
Okay.
Because
I'm
if you could
uncertain.
give me permission to see the documents and stuff like that, no editing, of course, I just want view, because I don't want to screw anything up. But if I could, then I could save you that step of going in and checking and see if we've got that W-9.
Awesome.
And then I could just roll it into Tyler.
Into your, yeah, that was the one thing, is that we will need to get it from one place to the
Yeah.
next. But
I
I'll
can-
double check and see
I
if
can
that's.
copy and paste, or I can save and then upload or something.
Okay,
But that would save you.
yeah, awesome. And the insurance is in there too. And they
Okay.
have, similar to Tyler, they have those deadline, expiration dates in there.
Sweet.
And then it warns me when something's come
Okay.
up. So
Yeah.
I have really liked that in the week that we have tested it out. So.
Well, logging in was super easy. It took no time.
Good.
It didn't like my easy password, so I had to make something a little more complex. But other than that,
Me too.
it worked well.
That was the one she's talking about.
But if you have,
All right.
but if-
That's good to know that.
but the cool thing is being able to get people to actually solicit to come do this. That's always been the thing in the past, is we've never been able to, okay, we put it in the paper, we do it here, but.
And we can track it.
And you can track it.
Yes.
And you have other documentation, and we have other stuff. So this is actually pretty cool, because that bonfire network is a lot bigger than,
Yeah.
because we can post to the whole network if we put a project out, right? It's all like 4,900 people that are on there or whatever.
So there's 16,000. I chose commodity codes for this construction project, and we did push it out to 4,600 companies that are interested in doing construction in Idaho. So,
Cool.
yeah,
Great.
it's been fantastic.
Thank you.
No
Sweet.
problem. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Scott?
Feel like I'm in the hot seat.
Oh, it's gonna get hotter.
That's what I'm
Thanks to that, so you're okay. Scott Crowther, Event Director and Business Manager. Joan, would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Joan Sayer with the Pocatello Iwamizawa Sister City Committee.
So, Joan is requesting a fee waiver for a couple hours use of the indoor arena for tomorrow for an event. And I'll let her describe the event, and then we'll kind of talk about it, so.
Okay, I don't know how many of you know about our Sister City Committee, but we're an exchange program with our Sister City Iwamizawa since 1985, and every year we do a student exchange, 10 to 12 students from each direction come and go. We've been absent for 3 years because of the world situation, but the Japanese delegation has come. We got home at 10:30 last night from picking them up at the airport. And we do activities for 2 weeks with these youth. This year it's a little group. There's four delegates and 2 chaperones. And during that 2 weeks, we do activities every day with them. On the weekends, the host families have them and do activities with them specifically. We are a nonprofit. We get only $1,250 a year to run this program. And so we depend on community and host families and people to really help us out to do that. So what I'm requesting is that we do a horse ride every year. These kids have never seen a horse, most of them, let alone ride one. And so we arrange for horses, and committee members and people in the community come and help us. And we usually do a horse ride for them. And not a short one, because you can go
You
around
want
the
them to walk
arena
the
so
next
many
day.
times. And we as committee members and people can only walk around that place so many times as well. So we're just requesting that we could possibly use that at no fee. I know there was a thing in the paperwork, they were concerned about liability and insurance. The kids have to come with insurance. So they are covered. We do have a doctor. We've never had an incident yet, but we do have Dr. Sandy, emergency room doctor, that helps us, and he's kind of on call to help us if we need anything. So I guess that's what I'm requesting, is a no fee for about 2 hours use.
Should
Friday
get them
morning.
hats.
Huh?
Cowboy.
Oh, we've done that
Okay,
before,
cool.
and bandanas to top
Alright,
it off,
alright,
yes.
yeah.
But we've discovered the hats are kind of hard to get back home to Japan.
Mail them, that'd be good.
So.
We did reach out to the folks, the contractors with High School Rodeo, to see if they could bring some bulls in.
Oh, right,
No,
we'll
just
see,
kidding.
we'll do it.
I think this is a great event, and it's very little impact to our operation.
If they want a rodeo, we have a fair going on in a week.
We try to get them to those activities too, but this year, we usually have taken them to the Indian Festival as well, but it's too late this year, where they have actually worn their yukatas, and they can actually go in with the Indian population or because they have their traditional dress. We can't do that because we don't, what do we have, Levi's and t-shirts, you know? But they do that, but unfortunately this year we can't do that, so.
Traditional Welshman.
There are a lot of activities next week down in Downey.
Yeah, Downey would be
Bannock County Fair.
for the fair.
Downey, yeah, and we try to take them everywhere we can think of. And we're doing a Yellowstone trip as well. We were gonna cut that out one year, and Japan insists we do that because it's a national park. And so we have a friend that's in Island Park that provides his cabin for our use. We used to get cabins in Yellowstone, but with our budget, that is just prohibitive to do that. So we stay for 2 nights and hit Yellowstone and all the areas up there as well. We're busy for 2 weeks. You can see my scribbles on the
Bet.
calendar here.
And how many youth did you bring in?
There's four youth and 2 chaperones this year, total of 6.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the fee waiver for the Sister City event as requested.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On the way back, I noticed EBR 1 is open, I think, for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they shut it down, which is the experimental breeder reactor at the museum out on the desert. And that would be something that would be probably
Interesting for them to
kind
see
of
as
cool.
well.
The first reactor that actually powered something. I mean, that's where nuclear power is developed. And so
Yeah.
that's something as you come to Idaho that most people don't ever go to, but.
Oh, I've been out there. It's very interesting.
Oh, it's, yeah, I could be out there for that. So.
I was going to also say, we would invite any of you to come and participate on any of our activities. If you want to get a hold of me, you're welcome. We have had commissioners come and do a horse ride with us before, so please feel free.
My horse is usually a 2-stroke, you know.
That doesn't count.
I might have a horse you could borrow.
That sounds a little frightening to me, but whatever.
She's just big.
No, I know how big your horses are. No.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much. We appreciate you.
And thanks for what you're doing there.
Yes, thank you.
You know, it's a great program. Hundreds of kids have gone through it, and it changes their lives.
Is our delegation in Japan right now, or when do they go?
We did not go this year for several reasons. Plane tickets were out of sight, and our kids have to earn their money. Parents don't provide the money. Our kids, we make them earn it. They appreciate the trip a lot more.
I've bought a few things from kids.
Oh, I'm sure.
I live in Ecom.
I'm sure you have. Yeah, it includes all of Bannock County. And then the COVID situation, it's not bad coming this way, but going back in with all the testing and stuff, it was just too much.
Yeah.
Too much for us to figure out the logistics of it, so we opted not to do it this year. But we do have a delegation selected, and we'll start our classes in October for that for next year, and cross our fingers, so.
How old do they have to be to go?
We usually like at least 14, and then if they're a senior, they can still go.
I got some nieces. I need to.
Yeah,
I think
great
it's cool to
program.
Make them go
Yeah.
get out of their shell a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's good for them. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
We'll go back to Melissa.
I'm sorry, you guys. Sometimes my veterans just qualify more important in my life. And I had one that really needed me this morning. So
We appreciate
I'm having Monday on Thursday. So I am coming today to talk about the proposed Veterans Parade that's happening in Pocatello. There have been 2 requests made of me. One to be on the committee, and one to help announce the parade floats at the Caldwell Park site. I have a couple of concerns. I'm not sure I have the time to be on another committee for a social event. I think I would have I do have the time to spend being the announcer with Paul Anderson at Caldwell Park. So I could probably do that part. But time constraints, it would really put a hit on my time. 2, my concern is that it's a city parade. So if I set a precedence as the county to be on, this was a concern during a 4th of July parade a few years ago, was that if I make a precedence that I'm on a city parade committee, that I would have to do that in McCammon and Ingham and Downey and Lava, which would just add to the nightmare of another social event. That I just don't think, I think would just be too big for me to do that. I told them I was happy to help promote their event, to encourage people to attend their event, but I don't think that I could sit on a committee. But I told them I would ask and leave that to you guys.
Not at this time. I mean,
Yeah.
you are very, very busy. You have an office, you know, that,
What do we
just
at?
like today.
1,300 veterans that we're
17,
1,700 right now?
yeah,
You can't guarantee all the time to be where.
correct. I can't, and I,
Make it to a meeting on
and when they ask you why you said, say, because she came to the meeting late, because she was helping somebody, she couldn't get here. But yeah, I totally agree. Then is it okay if I assist with the announcing?
I think
I
the day
can
of.
do that, the
I
day
think
of
the
the
day of
event.
is,
It's fine. I don't like having you on planning meetings and stuff like that, because that takes up a ton of time.
It does take up a ton of time. I mean, there's some other outside issues why I'm really not a fan of the scenario, but I think that's the most pertinent.
Yeah.
Okay. I have another question. I'm not sure I can ask it here, so I'm going to ask you if I can ask the question, and if I can't, then I'll get back on the meeting schedule
Okay.
again. September 11th is a Sunday. I was planning on Sunday, but then it was brought to my attention that it was Sunday. Can we do, is there any opposition to us doing it on Sunday?
I'd do it on Mondays when I would do it. You're just, a lot of people aren't in the city core. I mean, this is what I'm saying is you may have some, but I don't know how many people you'll have come down. I mean, is the federal government, when do they recognize it?
They don't.
I know, but when
It's
does so there will be.
September 11th. That is
Yeah.
the day. That is the proclamation for the day of service. Is September 11th.
Here's a better question. In the past, when did they do December 7th?
They quit. That's
Well,
the
but what
problem.
I'm
When
saying
you
is-
start shifting it and not this is what I'm worried about. If you start shifting it to accommodate our niceties, do you lose the reason behind it? So just like, okay, well, we'll just fluctuate December 7th. I'll be honest with you, we rejuvenated December 7th last year. I plan on doing it again this year, and I plan on doing it December 7th. I don't have a problem working on Sunday and putting that together. I think that it's more, for me, this is just for me, I will do whatever you want. But for me, dates like that are significant, and they need to be remembered and commemorated on the day that it happened.
I think
I'll just tell you that my feelings are, I don't care when you want to do it, honestly. But if you're going to do it on that day, I would move it to the afternoon, early evening, rather than
the morning.
the morning when most people have other commitments.
Oh, that's a very good, I think that's a very good accommodation.
And I
to
would
do
probably
that.
I'd probably plan on not having like the school band like we've had in the past.
I
or
already
orchestra.
asked them.
Are they're
They're
gonna see.
They're checking.
But what I would say is you might have to do a modified program for like on a Sunday just because
Because
of
it's
time.
Sunday.
Well,
Sure.
and there's a lot of people that we get a lot of people here on when we do it during the week because they work here, they're here,
They
everybody's
come out.
they're here, and it's one of those things is just you're on a Sunday, which is one of your only 2 days that you're home with your family and whenever. I would probably just make sure that if you can do it with a modified program, make sure you run, and if everybody can show up, great. But if you can't get the band, you can't do whatever.
Right. I think that the nice thing about doing it on a Sunday is the parents to those kids in the band
Can
will
actually
get
go.
an opportunity to go.
Yes.
Where during a weekday, they don't get to often see their
Yeah.
kids perform in that kind of a scenario.
That's where I say though, 4 or
but
5 in the
evening,
afternoon.
I hadn't even thought about that, and I think that's a wonderful.
Let's do it this way. I'd even do it a little bit later because people that have to be in wool uniforms and last. For some odd reason, it's always 95 degrees. It's the hottest day in September.
Sure.
So let's just,
Plan, like, how about?
I'd do it like 5 or
7?
6.
Oh, 6, okay.
Because
Well,
then
I'm
that
worried
way-
about dinner time, because
Because-
that is dinner.
You know, it's 5 o'clock, probably somewhere in there.
Okay.
You're cooling down enough that it's not.
But I'm going to agree with Ernie. I think we should celebrate it on the day. I think it's that important. And I think if you do it at 6 o'clock, it becomes a family event
Yeah.
for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
And so you can plan dinner around that. And if you just let everybody know far enough in advance that it will be at 6. Because I like.
Do I have to have a special meeting for that?
No,
Or can this be fine?
that's fine. This is just a direction.
Okay. All right.
You want me to be ignorant?
Not on the record.
I'll be how many employees come out of the building to see the event.
You know what, what comes out of the building is as many as are able to let go of,
Yeah.
that are able to leave and still keep the department open and functioning, come out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like I
think they
said,
do.
I was being ignorant.
That's all right. Well, sometimes that
I
happens.
repent.
Well, and like you said, I would just be prepared for a modified, because if the school if
think
they
that's a
can't come,
fabulous idea.
if they can't do stuff like that, we just make sure that we understand what we're doing. I would have one request, and this is something with all services like this. A lot of times people want to put more and more and more and more and more into these kind of events. And the problem is when you get older veterans and other people, the customs and courtesies and respects that most people don't understand what we have to go through, standing at the position of attention, doing certain things. You get some 90-year-olds and some older veterans that always come to these things,
And they insist on.
and they
coming.
insist on standing, they insist on doing these things. And so really, we want to try and keep these things, especially in the weather, if it's warm, as
As short and.
short as possible. I know everybody wants to have 14 musical numbers.
We're not.
Really?
Here's what we'll do. Basically, it'll be the same stand down, or the same
Yeah.
setup as normal. We'll have the Highland Band is who I invite to come here for this one, so that we get, I try to share our bands out, right? So
Yeah.
we get to hear everybody. So Highland is who I invite to the 9/11 ceremony. They play for about 15 minutes in a prelude
Yep.
music. And then we have the program, which will always be the exact same. It will always be the reading of the events as they unfold. Judge Carnaroli is always really good about doing that. He'll probably do that again. I can't imagine him not doing that. All of the law enforcement, our first responder chiefs send somebody down. There might be a couple of additions and things that I have neglected as a county employee to do, and that is to extend that invitation to city first responders. So police chiefs in those south cities will be invited to come, as well as we have so many fire districts, and their fire chiefs will also be invited to come. They'll be receiving their own invitation. I know was it last year that we did a luncheon at the Memorial Building?
Yes.
So what I'll probably do is I will probably ask if the Memorial Building wants to do a light dinner either before or after the event, and see what their thoughts are on that. See if those organizations want to participate in that fashion. But that will be it. The ceremony itself will be roughly, the whole program, roughly about 45 to 50 minutes. We did have some Purple Hearts awarded this year to our police department in Pocatello. So what I would like is I would like to see those police officers recognized at the event, but we'll see how that totally rolls out.
And that's quick. I went to this thing last year where they must have had 14 musical numbers, and they had like 8 or 9 of these old guys. They had some guys that were at Okinawa, and it was like, they survive that, guys. Don't make them have to stand in,
So, yeah.
So yeah, keep it, and that way we can keep kind of hey, this is the tradition of it,
And also,
unless federal delegations send their actual federal person, let's not have every federal delegate.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this off because we're drifting
Oh yeah.
from our
There you go.
agenda.
okay. So anything else?
No, good.
No? Good? Thank you.
Thank
So, I'll let Paul know that I will announce with him, and I'll let the parade committee know that I just won't be able to at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See ya.
I forgot to present some mileage reports.
Oh, don't
for you.
forget, I'll be in Boise next week.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll do that in just a minute. Let me go ahead and Braden,
Yeah.
the amended item on the agenda.
Oh, the
MOU.
The DRC, yeah.
It's been updated. There's changes in there from the original wording. It's just ready for ratification if you choose to ratify it.
Mr. Chair, I would say we kill it at this point in time. I'm starting to have a little bit of heartburn of spending that amount of money and then them coming in at the end with the lead paint asbestos warranty. I would like to have a discussion amongst us about maybe rethinking the location of this, and as we've mentioned a couple times, maybe doing a building up in the fairgrounds area for something
Yeah,
like
I
this.
mean, well, and I think maybe we go back and we have a discussion with ISU and say, hey, this is not our
I don't know if
building.
you got to see it.
This is, they want a warranty that if they find lead or asbestos or anything in there, that we have to pay for it. And
Oh.
it's the Armory building from 1950, so I guarantee
So
it's.
there's,
They took their group down there and they found stuff, is my opinion.
Well-
And now they're wanting us to
I found it when we were walking through there.
take care of everything.
You know,
I spoke with Wes about it yesterday, and he'd already been looking at some potential other sites prior to him seeing what the contract was. He did not feel if we moved it to somewhere else, it would jeopardize the creation of the EOC and the partnership with ISU. It would just give us more control over the facility, and the other thing that it would do is we would get full control over the revenue from any trainings we did and not have to split it, which, again, splitting it was just part of our contribution to maintaining the program, so it really wouldn't make much of a difference that way.
okay, if you just want to put it on hold then right now,
That would be my recommendation.
well, let's just hold it then. I'm okay with that, just hold it. And
I
let's-
appreciate Braden and Brian working to get this ready for us, but after a couple days of looking at it and thinking about it, I would like us to look at maybe another option.
Okay,
Because again, I struggle spending that kind of money in a facility like this.
when you get into,
Then
and if,
Then we have to warranty.
well, if you
And
get
we could
into it,
potentially walk away. And I realize that kind of looks funny with our discussion about the forensic pathology, but I think that's a little bit different.
that building was
discussion
built in
than this one
19,
is.
well, 1999, and this building was built in 1930.
So we do have a motion.
Yes, to kill it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And just to kill that contract, not to kill that.
The project.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I forgot during claims to present to you, we have a couple mileage reimbursement requests that need your approval before processing. Two of them are for board members, not employees, so we usually pay them. And then the other one is the revised reimbursement for Jamie that has already been discussed with her. And we just require they attach a copy of their insurance. So that's the second pages. You don't necessarily have to sign it, you can just tell me if it's good to go.
Ian, how's that?
Then we know it's been looked at. That's probably not a bad idea to do.
At least you get to them. I heard something yesterday, earlier this week. If you don't get two yeses, you don't agree, so you don't move.
You should be used to that. So maybe I need two initials.
I got mine on here too. Daryl, do you want to initial it as well? Sure. Okay. You'll get all three.
You get all three of us.
Is there going to be a motion for that or no?
No, they'll bring it for us, before us now in our claims,
Okay.
as we'll pay them here.
This is just acknowledgement of them initially. It's acknowledging that we can process.
Instead of them putting them in and then us taking them off after they've already written a check. All right. With that,
Wait a couple minutes.
we'll be at recess until
For this
10:30 or 10:15.
Whichever comes first.
session, it's pretty